Hello and welcome back to Corby's puppetry course. This week we're going to be taking our 3D printed marionettes and decorating them. This week you will need your assembled puppet, your milliput, one of the wooden skewers from the Shadow Puppet pack. The first skill I'm going to teach you is sculpting. Now we're going to use the milliput for this, so open it up and let's take a look inside. We're going to be using this to add extra detail to our puppet, and I'm going to teach you some sculpting techniques. Now this is a special type of modelling clay which sets over time. So have a think about the sort of thing you want to sculpt onto your puppet. I'm thinking I'm going to go for a beard, some facial features, and probably some clothing features as well. But you can sculpt as much or as little as you like using these techniques. Now we need to grab equal parts of both clays, so I'd recommend starting off with a little bit, so I'm going to go for about this big, and I need to grab the same amount on my other piece. And I'll wrap this stuff back up. I can always add more if I need to. Now we need to mix these two clays together, so just start moving them around each other until they're one uniform colour. The more you mix this together, the nicer it will look. Try rolling it up into a ball, and there we go. My milliput is one nice colour, so I can start using this to sculpt with. I'm going to start with my beard first. So to start off, I'm going to place it on quite loosely, pushing it into the puppet as I want to. It can also be worth having a glass of water to dab your fingers in to help smooth out as well. You need to be careful not to put too much milliput on, as this will make the marionette heavier and therefore harder to use, so you want to go for a less is more approach. You can dip your finger in water to smooth off any bumpy edges. If you see any holes on your puppet, you need to be wary of this, as we need to put the strings through later on. Now I've got my basic shape. I'm going to use my wooden skewer to add some extra details. I'm drawing some lines to give the hair some extra detail. I'm also going to use this to draw out a mouth. If you don't have any more wooden skewers from your Shadow Puppet pack, you can also use something like a pin. It works to the same effect. If there are any parts that you're not happy with, you can use the water to smooth it over and start again. So that's my beard. I also think I'm going to do some hair as well. If you've left any of the milliput for a little bit, just give it a little bit of a mix just to activate it again so it's nice and easy to work with. If you're going to sculpt hair on the top of the puppet, just be careful because this can offset the balance. You want to go for just a little bit of milliput, not too much at all. You don't have to use milliput for this decorating. You could also use some other materials from our packs. You could stick fabric onto this or use some of the craft foam that you might have. There's lots of different options. This is just a new technique you can add to your puppet making catalogue. Make sure you remember to leave the little holes clear so we can string the marionettes later. I'm going to add a little quiff to mine, I think. And remember, you can use some water to smooth all the gaps out. If you find that you've added too much milliput to your puppet, you can just pull off some of the milliput. For hair detail, you can be quite rough with the design. Adding lots of lines is great for showing all the individual strands of hair. So for the head, I've sculpted on some hair and a beard, but you can put whatever you like on your face. Ears, noses, tentacles, anything you like. You've just got to have a little consideration about the weight of the puppet. You don't want too much of the milliput coming out, otherwise it will weigh the head down when you're trying to move it later on. So it's best to keep it nice and small for the head. Now I'm going to activate this milliput again. Just wet my fingers to help it mix it and bring it alive. And I'm just going to sculpt on a little tie, I think. You can also use your scissors to cut off any excess milliput or to help with your sculpting. I'm using the wooden skewer to neaten up the edges of my tie. And I just sculpted a little tie onto him for his clothing. But again, you could sculpt on anything you like. The milliput needs about 4 hours to harden properly, so put the marionette somewhere safe until all of this has cured. And there we go, that brings us to the end of another puppetry session. I hope you've enjoyed sculpting your marionettes, and I'll see you next week where we're going to be painting them. Don't forget you can join one of our puppetry sessions on Tuesdays 6 till 7 or Wednesdays 4 till 5. I'll see you then, bye bye.